Yeah, I think it's a part of the process. It's a step on the journey. The way the qualification system works now, it does make every match throughout the season have some meaning, and you can add to your average at any point, which I think is really nice. And then qualifiers is still an important match to make sure you get there. So, I think we've grown the program to a place where we expect to go to championships every year, and we expect to be one of the stronger teams competing. But it's always an important part to just make sure you're there in the first place.
You mentioned it's just the routine that you have every time of the year at this point.
Sure.
You know what's you're going to do. GARCs, you have the time and the championships. How nice is that because so many of these kids have been here before?
Sure. Yeah, it's definitely nice to have it as sort of routine, like you said, and this year we're going with quite a number of seniors, so like you said, they've been through the process before. GARCs is a really important match for us to give us that extra preparation. There's a lot of teams that don't compete again after the NCAA qualifiers until they get to championships, so to have our conference championships in between there, and to have a very similar format and shooting over 2 days, and a quality field of competition. It's a great preparation, and like you said, it's become for us part of our routine and planning for championships.
Has Akron hosted before?
First time? I don't believe so. I think maybe the first time.
How many first-time NCAA shooters do you
have? The only one we will have will be Jenny Thrasher.
I don't know, you've talked a lot about individual, one at a time, matches, that kind of performance. But during the year, do you track where you are? Hey, we're first, second, third, knowing how many teams qualify and what you may need to do to make sure you're in there? I mean, I know that hasn't been much of a problem. But.
Yeah, I think as a team and something we talk about, not really. Certainly as a coaching staff, I think that's normal as staff that we look at the numbers and see how we're doing, and it's a very objective sport with a lot of numbers, so it's easy to track things and see where you are, and the statistics are getting better and better at being out there and for the public to see or for people to look up. So yeah, sure, we keep an eye on it, and I think at the start of the year, like many years in the past, we certainly expect to go to championships, but while we can't control our opposition and we do have to focus on ourselves, certainly as a staff we want to, out of the interest of the sport, just keep a check on how everyone else is doing. And I think even the team members, they all have friends on other teams and other rosters, and just keep in touch, and out of an interest probably see how their friends are doing. And so I think it's a small enough community and pretty natural to do that a little bit as well.
When you examine the talent that you lost and what was coming in, is there any point this season that you got a feeling that you could perform at this level, not just qualifying and getting back to another championship, but setting NCAA records for team scores?
We had a lot of seniors. I think at the beginning of the year, probably wasn't something that was the first thing that we thought about. That we could shoot these type of scores that we have. I think we definitely had a lot of confidence in the team that we had. We had a great mixture of all the returners coming back that we did, and I think it was almost like getting a new team member with Melis having redshirted last year, and then the 2 freshmen coming in have done really well this year as well. So I don't know if there was a certain point this year, but I think just they were all ticking along. We had a great team atmosphere, but yeah, I think the day we did break the national record the second time and shot the really big score, I think it surprised us all a little bit how big of a score that we'd shot that day, and it was just one of those days where all the team members had really solid days. It wasn't an abundance of personal bests, so it was maybe 1 or 2, but they just all shot to their capabilities on the same day. And but yeah, I think we've just had a good team group this year, and I think it's definitely a year where we've steadily improved throughout the year. So as a coach, that's what you want to see from them as individuals, but both as a team. And I think not just the two freshmen, but the older ones as well have, worked hard and slowly and steadily improved throughout the whole year, which has been great to see.
Next Friday and Saturday morning, when you have your team together for the last time, what do you say to them, and what is that talk like?
Well, we'll wait and see when we get there. I think a lot of it revolves around, just keeping everything normal and just, shooters are, they have their routines and I think we're all creatures of habit a little bit, so it's going to be just sticking to our own routine and what we've done all year, and that we don't need to do anything different or change anything. And just try and do what we can to make sure that they're as focused on their task and themselves, and to just go out and let it happen.
Do you ever wish that it was maybe like some other sports where you could let your emotions out a little bit?
I don't know. I mean, I've been around the sport for so long as an athlete and now as a coach. That's just the nature of the sport. I think there's after competitions, there are sometimes some emotions that come with that, but you have to be able to control that as you go through. But I think that's part of the sport that a lot of them enjoy, that they are in their own little world, and they're controlling what they're able to control, and you aren't influenced from a lot of those outside factors. So it's just different. It's not maybe something that we really think about a whole lot.
You've had young talent before, you've had some senior leadership. Is it easier to manage the young talent, considering it may not realize what situation it's in, like with Jenny, or is it better to have a senior who understands but maybe have a little bit more trepidation because of understanding the big situation?
That's a good question. I think a lot of that depends on the individual. I think it's a little bit of both. I think the seniors, they are older. They know what to expect. I think there's less surprises for them, so they know what to expect and they're prepared for that. They probably still have to work hard to control emotions that they may have, and just remind themselves that it is just another match, and keeping it simple. For a younger person like Ginny, who hasn't been there, it's probably just making sure that she doesn't think too much, and she just goes in there like you says and just goes for it. So that's maybe the danger sometimes in freshmen, is just either being surprised by something or overthinking it, or things like that. So it's a little bit of both. I think sometimes and this is not just NCAA's but our whole sport in general, you do sometimes see either younger or less experienced shooters that have success, whether it's national level or Olympic trials all the way up to international competitions. And I think there is that element sometimes of just that sort of naivety, that they're not necessarily aware of anything and they just go and shoot naturally like it's just another competition. So I think that is the challenge for all the team members, is to be able to, and that's why it becomes such a mental sport, to be able to block out all those other factors and really shoot it like it is another day in practice or another match, and not overthink it too much. So those are the challenges, I guess, whether you're a freshman or a senior, inexperienced or experienced, to just keep it simple and just kind of go and do what you know how to do.
Everybody you bring in here is immensely talented and has competed in the U.S. and overseas. With Jenny, with what she has done this year, has it been in line with what you thought she was capable of doing her first year?
I mean, she's had an exceptional year. I think she's probably exceeded everyone's expectations, maybe even her own, on what she's been able to achieve so far. But I think she, is very single-minded. She's very determined, and then she's done a great job at listening to her teammates, to us as a coaching staff, to anyone else that would give her advice, and so she's been very coachable, and I think she's just steadily improved week after week, match after match. So yeah, I think she's definitely exceeded our expectations for her, and possibly her own as well.